Hey everyone, it's been some time since I've posted a video. And for those who know me, you know I live in Western North Carolina and the Asheville area, and we've been through a lot. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to talk, but I do need to talk. I want to start by saying there's many people in this area who are in a lot worse situation than I am. They've lost homes, they've lost loved ones. There's just so much damage and destruction. There's a long range and gamut of how this storm and the aftermath has affected each individual and each family in this area. So I humbly come here knowing that my circumstances, while they're valid and impactful to me, I know there's others out there that are in a lot worse shape than me and my family are in. I can't share their experience. I can't talk about their experience because it's theirs. This video is just for me to talk, and what I'm going to talk about just from my experience and what me and my family have encountered and dealt with. We did have a tree fall on our house. We're all safe. We're all okay. We've been displaced. We're having to live somewhere else. I've had some family step up and help with our children, but we're making it through, and we'll be okay. It's going to be a long time before we'll be okay. We're not okay right now. I can't sit here and tell you we're okay, but we're safe and we're alive. And it's okay for me to say that we're not okay. I'm not on here to criticize anybody. That's not my agenda. It never has been my agenda. But I will say that if you don't live in this area, more than likely what you have seen and heard is far worse than what you're being told. I'm making this video, tomorrow will be 3 weeks since the hurricane came through here. So it's 3 weeks later, and I will tell you that there are still people missing. There are still rescue operations going on. There are still people living in shelters, homeless, nowhere to go, living in tents. There are still people without power. There are still people without water. The destruction is still all around us every day, reminding us of what each individual's been through. And I will tell you that the system, I won't refer to it as government, because there's people out there that's trying to politicize the deaths and destruction of people here in Western North Carolina. And this is not a political thing. As I've said many times, the system tries to control us. And part of that control is they want us to rely on them. And in turn, they fail us. They haven't been here like they should. They haven't taken care of us like they should. And I'll say, I'm talking about the heads, the leads, because there's boots on the ground. There's volunteers here that's come away from their families and their homes to try to help us and take care of us. There's first responders out there that are going through trauma and turmoil, trying to save and rescue people still. 3 weeks later, still trying to save and rescue people. They're not getting the support and help that they need either. I'll tell you in a little bit where that support and help's coming from. But the whole system needs to change. I haven't got the help I've needed, not from the system. So I said, a tree fell on my house. Trees fell up and down my road. I have some pictures, but I haven't shared anything. I have not shared anything really about this personally, because I didn't feel like I could. But I'll tell you that the trees that got cleared off our road were done by neighbors coming together to support each other. It didn't matter what political party they belonged to. It didn't matter what religion they were. It didn't matter what ethnicity they were. It didn't matter what country they were from. We came together as human beings. And if you're not out here to help your fellow human beings, you don't need to be out here. You don't need to be coming here on vacation. There's nothing to sightsee. There's nothing to tour. There's people that need help. There's people that still need help. Had a big hole in my roof. Didn't know how I was going to get it tarped. I was walking. Our cars were blocked in. We had to walk to try to get supplies. A major retailer that I worked for didn't open their doors for 3 days. I don't know what the reasons were, but I will tell you that Target and Lowe's had their doors open. They figured out a way to get their doors open. They figured out a way to be able for people to get supplies that they needed. I was walking back home, saw a neighbor, never met before, talked with him. We were telling each other our circumstances. I told him I didn't have a tarp to put on my roof. I didn't know how I was going to get it tarped. Just telling him what was going on. Went home. Later that day, a car pulled up across the street, stopped. It was that neighbor. He got out and brought me a tarp. Handed me a tarp. Didn't say a word. Got back in his car and left. That's how the people here in Western North Carolina are getting through this. There's people out there today going to FEMA sites, waiting in line for 3, 4, 5 hours to get help. I was approved for a hotel voucher for my family since we've been displaced. The hotel voucher, the person on the phone told me the closest hotel was in a city that was inaccessible by road for us. That's the kind of help that we're getting from the system. Totally different than the help from the people here in the communities that's banding together to survive. That's kind of the things that's going on here. Like I said, I don't want to be on here to criticize, because there's places out there, Casa Tours, local restaurant, giving out free burritos to people. Papa John's giving out free personal pizzas. Tupelo Honey setting up a buffet style food, hot food bar in their restaurant for people to come get warm food. There are small mom and pop organizations out there helping us, but we have to fight and struggle to find the resources we need to survive. I don't want to talk about that anymore because it's very stressful. 3 weeks later, it's still very hard. I want to talk about something more important. As I said, my family and I are safe. We're displaced. Our home's being worked on. We're better off than a lot of other people that's gone through this. But one thing you don't hear talked about very much, and it's something that wasn't talked about before either, because it's broken. Another broken system of our country that entirely needs to be overhauled and changed, and that's the mental health. Mental health for the people going through all this, the mental health for the first responders and boots on the ground and the sights and things that they're seeing as they go through this. But for those who've already suffering from depression and anxiety, the support's not there that needs to be there for them. The care that they need, it's not there. People will tell you that it is, but it's not. It wasn't there before. You know, I'm married to my soulmate who suffers from anxiety and depression. Has for years. We live near the airport, so now daily we heard nothing but helicopters, military helicopters flying overhead. It was like a war zone. And now whenever she hears a helicopter, she starts shaking. She gets scared. And that's just a small part of it. And those people that's going out there and finding all the bodies, which is being misreported, there's more death than what they're telling you. I can't tell you the stories because that wasn't me that officially experienced them. But I've heard plenty of stories about a lot more death, and these people are going to be traumatized. I can't talk anymore about this. So I just want to say, if you're not in Western North Carolina, please support us. Please help us. And please don't forget about us. Sometimes I'm not the best at words. I'm more of a writer than I am a talker. But I really am not the best for words right now because there's a lot of different emotions that I'm dealing with. I go from being angry to being sad, upset, hopeless. Then other days I have hope. So I'll just tell you this, me and my family are living one day at a time, 1 hour at a time. That's all we can do. That's how we're surviving. We don't know what the next hour is going to bring still, and we're 3 weeks into this. I want to thank everyone who's reached out to support us. I want to thank everyone who donated to our GoFundMe page, and I will tell you that that money that you gave has gone to help us get housing for our displacement, and has gone to help us fix our home with some of the issues that we're having there. So thank you for helping us. For those who have stepped up and done that, for everybody that stepped up and provided something for us, that's been there for us, thank you, because we need it. We need it. I can't sit here and tell you I'm okay. I can't sit here and tell you that we're okay. I can tell you we're safe, but we're struggling. And there's a lot of people that's struggling worse than us, and it's a constant. So no, things aren't better. They're progressing, but they'll not be a normal for a long time. Thank you for listening. I don't know when I'll do more paranormal ghost videos. Can't even think about it right now. That's going to be a long time coming. We can't even get to the mountains to go back out and hike to our mountain spots. So please be patient with me with that. Thank you for your support, and I'll talk to you soon.